Hello, my name is Fowler. This is my wife, Olga Belenka.
I can introduce myself.
You can?
Yeah. Hello, my name is Olga. I'm boss of this best chef of Peloton. So this is my...
So you're the boss of the best chef in the Peloton?
Yeah. Sometimes helper.
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Now that we got that straight, we work for Cannondale-Drapac professional cycling team. And welcome to my kitchen. 10 years ago, some cyclists were riding near my restaurant, and they came over and over again. And then finally there was some training camps where they invited the entire team. And in 2008, they asked me to do the Tour de France, and we have 3 children, and thought, wow, what an opportunity, but no, I had to turn it down. But that whole year, we kind of talked it over, and we decided that we'd try to make it work and do the restaurant and do the Tour de France. And so the first Tour de France was 2009, and that's how I got it started. I've been on the same team ever since. The first tour I cooked for, which was definitely the hardest, David Miller, everything that happened to him, David come back into cycling and I'm on this team, which just made me really proud. And I remember the stage, going into Barcelona, he was in the skate group and I was in my room. I'm sure he could hear me because I was cheering him on so much. And so, he didn't make it. He made it, I think it was like the last 500 stinking meters the peloton got him. And that whole moment is just probably one of the coolest moments I've lived in cycling to this day. The most complicated rider to cook for would be David Zabriskie. In that one Tour de France that we had with him, he decided to become vegan. And so we had, besides the diet that we were providing with all the other riders, well, we would also cook plenty of legumes, lentils, garbanzos.
The most difficult moment was remember they not put all together.
Yeah, you had to keep it all separated, and the rest of the riders would put it all together, but he would have it separated.
Last moment you're like,
oh crap! Yeah, it's risky. I actually believe in vegetarian, vegan protein sources rather than the mainstream diet, and that we don't really think too much about what we eat. What it does is it forces you to concentrate on what you're eating and choose the right vegetables. A huge variety and array of vegetables will give you your 9 essential amino acids. You can get enough protein through your vegetables and your legumes. You can, but you have to be really good about it. You can't just say, today I'm going to eat broccoli, and tomorrow I'm going to eat green beans, and Thursday I'm going to eat tomato caprese. No, you have to be real specific about eating a tremendous variety of everything. Not at all. No, I mean, he was in that tour, I think he was 3rd or 4th in a time trial, and his weight was fantastic. There was a moment where Zabriskie had to pull out in front. He had the entire peloton strung out in a line for an hour and a half. Yeah, I think vegan does work. The biggest misconception that cyclists have is carbo loading, where you think that you're going to have a lot more energy if you eat a bunch of carbohydrates the night before the race. What happens is if you carbohydrate load, then you'll have digestive and intestinal problems the day of the race, and you won't pedal, you won't advance. It's all about training and diet together. If you're going full on to increase your carbohydrates, and normally before a Gran Fondo you'd want to give yourself 2 to 3 days of low intensity workout and decrease your carbohydrates and eat as normal on the morning of your Gran Fondo, and you'll have plenty of glycogen supply in your muscles and there would be no problems. My advice is eat the right vegetable. All the macronutrients and fiber that you receive in a diet of as many raw vegetables as possible is a diet to good health. If your body is healthy, it will respond to what you ask. So on a hard day, you eat a little bit more carbohydrate. On a low day, you eat a little less carbohydrate. But every day, as many vegetables in variety and color as you can. Dense nutrients. I've made a tremendous amount of friends, over the years, on the team and on other teams. It's been quite the privilege, We spend all those years watching all your favorite riders on the TV, and then have them walk past your van and say hi to you. Concentrating on dinner and cooking and whatnot, and turning and looking, and then having Fabian Cancelada standing there asking me questions about the food in the truck, and we'd been friends for a long time. It's like, that's wild.